All right, and now we'll be back from that break. We do continue with making sure that we drive your business, and in that particular regard, we are going to be looking at the SMB across borders. It has actually been a very cold Monday.
Yes, it is, and also a fresh one. Not forgetting that you waking up with us is always the greatest day to go and make that money. Now, speaking about cross-border, we definitely kick-started with our immediate neighbors, Kenya, where the Dutch brewer Heineken will be holding a 35% stake in its regional alcohol distribution business, including Kenya to stakeholders of this steel group and part of the acquisition of South Africa's best farm. And the Heineken distribution business in Tanzania, Uganda and Kenya, South Sudan are valued around 885.5 million rands, that is around 6.6 billion shillings, and will be transferred to South African subsidiary called Subside Acquisitions Limited that will be jointly owned by the Heineken and Distill. Now, Heineken will currently fully own the regional alcohol distribution business that will be ending up with a diluted but controlling around a 65% stake in Sunside and Distill withholding around 35%. Now, as part of the transaction, Distill will also be bringing its interest in its subsidiaries, including Kenya Wine Agencies Limited, to subside around its profits. But the parties said the ongoing transactions will result in a stronger operation that will grow and compete more effectively against rivals such as Diego Distill's product portfolio, comprising about spirits, wines, cider, whiskey, and gin. And Heineken's, on the other hand, is specializing in premium beer and cider brands. Diego has a diverse product range, catering for a range of income, with Guinness among the most popular brands on the continent. And as we conclude on this one, you realize that Heineken says that manufacturers and marketing of products imported into Kenya will be originated and coordinated from South Africa once they tie up with the Distill, or once they tie up with the Distill company deal being complete. So we're talking about beverages, Jerome Sonko, on a Monday like this. We are going to be beginning the week, and a lot of the week activities still are driven by drinks, very well, not just cold drinks. But yes, in the evening you can decide to maybe take some of the beverage that you believe would at least sharpen your brain. That is why people bathe would drink alcohol. Some say that, you know, when I drink alcohol, it tends to sharpen up my mind a little bit. So therefore, the brand of Heineken is coordinating with the Distill from South Africa, and when all is done, or when the deal is completed, the manufacturers and production will be ranging in from South Africa there, and the distributors or distribution channels or areas, including this country, including Kenya, including Tanzania, will therefore getting maybe another branding in regards to profitable ventures looking out for there.
Oh. Well, and when you look at the beverages, most alcoholic beverages, even here in Uganda, they actually contribute a lot to the taxes. When you look at the East African, rather the Uganda Bureau, is also considered as one of the key taxpayers, which means that people definitely take in a lot.
I mean, ranging especially from Friday, when it comes to a Friday, weekend, okay, let's just talk about weekend. Remember, the economy just revamped in regards to the reopening, so you realize there was a lot of happiness associated with that, which was not there by then. You know, the drinking process had to slag behind a little bit when we were in COVID times, still in lockdowns, but now, hey, you're out there, go and shine.
That's surprising, even in the lockdown, people used to take a lot of alcohol.
At home, drink at home.
At home. Because they still recorded, these guys still
but you know, it wasn't there on a very daily basis, I can say, because you realize you've got children looking to you. At the end of the day, you don't want to know what, to judge you as my parent is standing out to be an alcoholic or something like that.
They can put in a bottle. See, Ugandans
Like,
Ugandans definitely take in a lot of alcohol. But that aside, let's try to look at the Airports Council International's Airport Service Quality Survey, where the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and the Moi Airport, all the two in Kenya, have ranked best in Africa in regards to customer service. Now, Kenya's international airports in Nairobi and Mombasa have been ranked the best in Africa for the second year in a row based on travelers survey by the Airports Council International, which is a trade association of the world's airports. Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and the Moi International Airport emerged top in the 2021 best airport by size and region in the 5 to 15 million passengers per year and under 2 million passengers per year categories respectively. And the Airport Service Quality Survey, that is the SCQ, is considered the aviation industry's most comprehensive passenger service benchmarking program and captures passengers' experience in more than 300 airports worldwide. SCI World Director General Luis Felipe de Oliveira congratulated Kenyan Airports Authority, that is the KAA, for its efforts in improving the passenger experience, and this comes after second time in a row that they are still considered as the best when it comes to customer service. Well, in the region still, you can look at that even on the African continent. Kenyans are definitely known for being very good when it comes to customer service in terms of serving in the different service sectors of the industry. So clearly, you can see that this comes as a no doubt for them, and it being the fact that when you look at their airports here, also having world-class terminals. They extended some of those terminals. You can see even here we have extensive works at the Entebbe International Airport, but those in Kenya had already done the situation. And besides that, these airports have been in place for quite a long time. The Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is situated in Nairobi. Then the other, that is the Moi Airport, which was named after former President Daniel Arap Moi, is actually in Mombasa. And the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport was named after the founder of, or the father of the nation, that is Jomo Kenyatta, who led Kenya to independence. Remember, he is the father to the current president, Uhuru Kenyatta, who will not be getting back to president after this term is done, since Kenya is actually heading into polls come August 2022. Well, I think those are some of the lessons that we as Uganda have to pick from situations to do with quality service. And besides the quality service, we need to also pick from there to understand how can we rank in among the top 10 in the top 5 places here when it comes to customer service on the African continent. Because it is actually a situation where you do believe that Kenyans are actually stepping up. They have 2 major airports, and their 2 major airports are still ranking number 1 and 2 in Africa.
Entebbe Airport will definitely beat it around because we're in expansion deals. We are making sure at least we expand our airport and putting it up to standard, and maybe this would we will see results. Let us be patient. Let us give our brothers to take on for now, but we're going to take up maybe, first of all, you have to look at what is even making them get ranked, about the facilitations they use, about the structures they are putting up. Even when we're just expanding far, like just expanding the area, putting up more facilities or putting up more structures, but then they are not up to standard, we're still going to find ourselves not even being ranked, but just rather being known that, Uganda has got an international airport. So as we put in all the considerations of reorganizing ourselves, renovating, let us not forget that quality matters in all aspects. And Moving on about Russia and Ukraine conflict, now the U.S. has banned Russian diamond and vodka imports. The U.S. President Joe Biden has announced a ban on import of Russian diamond, seafood and vodka in the latest response to Russia's war in Ukraine. The U.S., European Union and other allies also plan to revoke Russia's status as an equal trade partner, paving the way for further economic punishment. The move also adds on the sanctions that have isolated Russia's economy since the invasion. It is currently, or its currency has collapsed, which while the global firm rushes to exit the country. Now Russian President Vladimir Putin has laid down the Western sanction on banks, and to be celebrating or that is declaration of the war, Moscow has also threatened to normalize or nationalize production plants or factories where their works have been unsuspended. But Western allies announced further economic retaliation on Friday. The European Union said it would ban imports of key Russian iron and steel products and also ban new energy investment in the country, while the UK put sanctions on the hundreds of Russian politicians. The US, the EU and UK also said that they would cut off shipments of luxury goods to Russia and international rules designating a country a most favored nation, providing that is reciprocal trade privileges such as lower tariffs, taxes imposed at the border. Stripping Russia of the status clears the way of higher tariffs on key products to sell, such as mineral fuels, fertilizer and metal. But Biden said also he's coordinating the plan with the European Union and other advanced economies, including Canada and Japan, each of which will be taking on a similar step. And in the US, Congress, which is also highlighting that must act of the move or the move to go into the effect, has already declared itself in favor of that particular move. So Jerome Powell was speaking about how the sanctions remain to impact the lives of Russian people and its economy. But just to highlight for you on how far or how the imports around Russia with the US are faring on, the US imports around 24.1 million US dollars in beverages, spirits. There is also, this is highlighted as an annual one from Russia. Most Russian branded vodkas are produced in other nations, including Latviana-made Stoli, which is also rebranded from Stolinchia earlier on this month with the response of Ukraine invasion around there. But the US imported around 1.2 billion US dollars in Russia of seafood last year, and the Kremlin was accused around the US and the allies of wedging the economy around there. So you realize that all this money is just they're going to blink out of it. Like they close their eyes, they do not want to see how much they've been, importing to Russia, but then the ban has to continue moving on. This is one way of punishing Putin, but he seems not to be, shaken at all. Everything they are putting on him, it's like it's giving him energy to do more. But again, peace talks are, being coordinated, integrated to make sure the lives of people in the hand or in the end are at least very well protected.
And Russia is still feeling the pinch in there in Europe as a number of countries greatly still putting Putin on pressure. Well, besides that, now let's head back to Africa as we head to West Africa, as Ghana's Revenue Authority did launch a non-resident e-commerce and digital service registration portal. The Ghana Revenue Authority launched a non-resident e-commerce and digital services registration portal as a first step to begin the taxing of electronic commerce and online businesses beginning 1st April 2022, 3 weeks to that. 2.5 weeks precisely. The move is to widen the tax net, broaden the tax scope, enhance the contribution of tax revenue to the gross domestic product and complement the Ghana Revenue Authority's efforts to achieve a revenue target of 80.3 billion Ghana cedi for 2022. The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Reverend Dr. Amishidai Owusu Amoa, said the online tax would be targeted at both domestic and foreign online service providers, betting companies, and all portals that engage in cross-border businesses, so more so those that are engaging when it comes to electronic commerce, e-commerce, or e-paper. And he said the move would allow the Ghana Revenue Authority to meet the 2022 budget target and tax to gross domestic product ratio. Reverend Owusu Amoa said that the Ghana Revenue Authority was focused on making tax compliance easy through 1, digitization, and then 2, changing the trend of tax payment to meet the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. To realize the potential, especially from the non-resident in the digital economy, the portal had been developed to ensure that non-residents engaged in cross-border trade register, file, and pay the applicable taxes. That is to help foster tax revenue and revenue collection when it comes to the e-commerce services, and also all businesses that are running when it comes to the digital one. So clearly, this shows you that almost all African economies are turning digital.
Very well, and speaking about embracement, there is at least something being done with Ghana here when they are officially putting out there to be launching the around the e-commerce digital service. I mean, as a country, you know, services just come. We're embracing it. You either take it on or leave it. For example, Uganda has never declared that, you know what, we're using this kind of technology for digitalization. But countries like Ghana are doing so. What impact or what difference does that create among even embracement of it from the people? You realize that as a country coming out to declare a service, a given service or entity for their people, or even on towards using it, citizens are going to embrace it. Citizens are going to appreciate the service very quickly and faster and say, you know what, this is a government move. Maybe you're seeing other governments doing that, but if, Joram, you always put it to the people like, hey, that's just there. Not even you bringing it, because government does not actually invent digitalization around here. It's private sector always, you know, trying to orient some of the services, integrating them, and using e-commerce portals, using digitalization, going cashless. The government has not had much, you know, input towards this. Only if they could support these private sectors, financial service providers. This would in turn try to involve, you know, more people coming together on that particular
I think now with the registration of the TIN, more so to get your TIN from the online portals of URA, I think also URA is also targeting seeing the e-commerce sector. They're also targeting turning digital, because they've realized most of the businesses are using the online platforms more so to trade. So I guess also with what I'm saying, with what URA is doing, also with the e-freeze, it is more of but maybe not yet in there.
It is helping out, you know, it is helping out, e-freeze is helping out to save time, it's helping out to control your movement to URA. You can do things online, and that's digitalization. And if all government entities could enhance, you know, or try to come expose digitalization platforms, and in turn, or in the end, I mean, citizens are going to embrace it. Now we have got the one coming up with Ministry of Lands, the public portal, the lands public portal. We don't know yet about, you know, the safetiness and all that. We're yet to find out more about it. But again, this is one move of, you know, coming out to involve citizens participate. But away from there, moving on across China, we're going to look at how the Prime Minister there is promising around 13 million jobs to reverse slump. Chinese government hopes to generate as many as 13 million new jobs this year to help reverse a painful economic slump, but also faces many difficulties and challenges. The country's #2 leader said around last week. Now, the forecasters said the ruling communist Communist Party is likely to struggle to meet off its official target of around 5.5% annual economic growth, its lowest since the 1990s, and that would be done down sharply from last year's 8.1% expansion at the time when China, under the self-imposed pressure from the crackdown on the debt that Beijing worries as dangerously, or it's very dangerously high, as well as the coronavirus, weak global export demand, a high energy costs as oil prices surged during the war in Ukraine. Now, Premier Li Keqiang promised around pro-job policies, including tax and fee cuts totaling around 2.5 trillion yuan, that is around 400 billion US dollars for business, especially small entrepreneurs, and Chinese workforce is shrinking, has been fallen around almost 5% from its 2011 peak. But the effort to control debt in the fast real estate industry triggered a plague last year in housing, sales and construction, which supports millions of jobs, raising the prospect of politically dangerous spike in the unemployment. As an economic growth slides to around 4% over a year earlier on in the financial or in the final quarter of 2021, we're seeing leaders responding by easing up a one longer term measure to reduce the debt and nurture self-sustaining growth based on domestic consumption instead of trade and investment. But what more does forecasters expect? The country's economy that is weakened further before rebounding in the media. A recovery is expected to take longer than usual due to Beijing's desire to avoid relying on its traditional tool of encouraging real estate investment, which may push up debt and housing costs. But efforts to end outbreak of coronavirus are also slowing a recovery. Now, the Premier expressed confidence that official economic targets can be met, but warned also that China is grappling with the debt, global warming and gulf between its elite and the poor majority around there. So China is trying to revamp, is trying to come out from the effect of COVID-19, not only COVID-19 effects, but there have been also effects of global warming, effects of environmental activities that have not happened or ongoing very well, which in turn have impacted their growth or their productivity. Because I mean, when the environment is worse, when you're not receiving good weather, your daily activities, your production is bound as well to be halted down, to be impacted and very well affected. But now with the move of making sure that there is a 13 million job reverse slump around there.
This is actually a continuation of the 1 billion population conference that did happen last week as we're heading into the weekend. I do remember we were showing that live, courtesy of CDTN, a few minutes to SMB, and where the Prime Minister was also meeting up with the press during that time to address some of these matters. And clearly you could see that some of the resolutions from that particular conference is that 13 million jobs are set to be available to reverse slump. When you look at the slump,
what would the 13 million jobs create, or what more could the 13 million jobs do?
Well, first, when you look at, besides, let's say, effects of created by COVID-19 as well and all that, remember some people did lose their jobs. And for the government to clearly come out and say we are providing 13 million, then that means they've got, remember, China is a country that has actually developed on communism. Basically, whereby everything, it's known that there is a lot of private owned businesses, but clearly there are a number of businesses in there, and whenever you're done with school, you're sure of a job in China. So when the government promises 13 million jobs,
that means it's going to be provided
available.
And this could come in regards, because the job is not going to be there waiting for you, but government makes sure they put up industrialization, they put up facilities for its people to be catered for. I mean, if
once you apply for the job and
if that move is around here, if that move is around here for maybe university students who are coming out from university, you are assured that, hey, I'm coming out, this is where I'm going. There is already a facility set up for you. But anyway, it's still, you know, at a very slow pace. But again, government at least is trying to make sure it provides learners, more so students, with at least sustainable startup income that would help them. For example, the loan scheme, whereby you take it upon, but you pay it later upon you getting a job. But that one also comes with constraints at some point. What if you don't get?
Well,
I don't want to be negative.
Maybe if we can,
it's a Monday, we're beginning the week. I don't want to be negative today. And please, when you see me negative, just tap on me. Hey, wake up.
But like
So
Peter
go for
says,
the student loan.
if the government can as well adopt such a strategy for China, but maybe you could look at both the economies and look and say China may be quite ahead of us, but it's not too late to start such situations, because you have a lot and a number of Ugandans who are unemployed at a time. So if we can still create these jobs through the various industries that are set up, then it is a way to go. But with that, we take a break. After it, we have business tips, business quotes, and also more of the SMB reports coming your way. Stick around.